Hi, my name is Ling, Dewi, and Wulansari. Today I will bring up a topic about the culture shock during pandemic. And as we know, at the end of 2019, there's a virus emerged that quickly spread across the world. The coronavirus, then known as coronavirus disease 2019, has reportedly claimed the life of thousands of people in Wuhan, China in just a few weeks. And this coronavirus is considered much more dangerous than its predecessor virus, named as SARS. Because often those infected feel nothing until the coronavirus damages their internal organ systems, especially the lungs and the heart. In early March 2020, the Indonesian government officially announced the first case about COVID-19 infect in Indonesia. Next few days, it was stated that cases were increasing rapidly every day, and the information on the spread of infection quickly makes the public panic, anxious, and afraid, resulting in a space of panic buying of face masks, food, and medicine and vitamins and other herbal medicine at supermarket. This condition ultimately led to the understanding of applying the new normal to deal with COVID-19. Does provide a lot of change in our life, especially for a student that has been studying in a classroom. Now they have to change completely by bringing their tasks at home. And also the parents must be able to adapt to this time of change, because the role of parent who initially became a responsibility of the teacher during the face-to-face learning process at school. So inevitably, parents also contribute to helping and process of providing children educational understanding, because the provision of material can be successful as long as there is good collaboration between student, parents, and also the teacher. Especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, the face-to-face learning process at school was carried out at home. In addition, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the duties of the parents also increased. Parents must be able to pay attention to develop and character change that occur to the children, as well as the status of parents at home and students for their child. In fact, the problem that occur on our beloved Earth always have a good effect on all of us parents, teachers, and students. The struggle in this time of change is not just something that is not important. This is a big step for us as a teacher to be able to adapt to this time of change. Between the parents, the student, and also the teaching staff have experienced many change in teaching methods due to the new normal, which requires everyone to guard themselves so they are not exposed to the COVID virus. The habit that has changed, which seems significant, is that the implementation of teaching activities is no longer carried out face-to-face. This requires that between teacher and also student have at least a cell phone or computer for learning activities at home. In this time, is to make a culture shock that it can be felt when the participation in learning during a pandemic. Both student or teacher no longer meet in the same room, but only meet by video conference, which is held from their respective home. And all kind of communication take place by an online. And the second, the child must need one of tools such as cell phones or computer to make them able to follow their learning activities, and it makes the parent must buy that thing for them. And not to mention the internet quota that must always be there, making parents' expense increase almost twice than usual about money in every month. And the third, the habit of often socializing while studying at school and then being required to study independently at home also includes the culture shocks. A student fought for approximately 1 year during pandemic. At the beginning of the pandemic, this time is there's at the beginning of the pandemic, this time is still understandable because the condition make it impossible to learn as usual. However, the longer as the pandemic period, which never subsides, and make study feel bored and stressed because their daily activities are just staring at screen for just many hours without direct socialization with people as they do before. And the fourth, as student, they must also be able to understand what has happened, and that the COVID-19 pandemic is very serious problem for all humanity, and students should not only assume that there is no face-to-face meeting, it's mean holidays, but they must also learning at that time. And the fifth, during this pandemic, all human beings must also be able to adapt to the enormous technological advance for the learning activities, so that students must be able to take the situation as best as possible, so their grades remain good even when studying alone without being accompanied by a. As we know, when we learning at home, there is a lot of things that can bother us. I mean, we must help our parents, or we must do something at home as can bother our learning activities, but all we can do is focus and just stay, try to adapt to the new normal about the learning activities, because it will happen for a long time until this pandemic ending, but we never know when is the pandemic end. And then that's it. All we need to do is just focus on the new normal and make the new normal as best as possible to do our best to do our learning activities.